What if I told you there is an easier method to get rid of all the bitterness in your bitter leaf? Washing bitter leaf is that chore almost everyone I know, myself inclusive, detest so much. I know you don't enjoy it either. So in this video, I'll be showing you how to wash bitter leaf without stress. No stress, okay? Make sure you skip no part of this video so as not to miss out on any secrets I want to spill. Okay, let's go. First of all, I'll have to pick the bitter leaf from the stalk. If you like, you can remove the middle vein of the leaves, but I like to leave it there just because I like to retain all of the goodness the bitter leaf has to offer. Some people don't like the middle vein, they like only the soft leaves without the stick or the wood that comes with the leaves. So if that is you, you can remove it, fine, you can remove the middle veins. But if you like to retain all of the goodness of the bitter leaf, just leave the veins there, okay? So once my hand is full, I'll cut the bitter leaf into a large bowl. You can cut as big or as tiny as you want, it really depends on you. So once I'm done cutting, I'll repeat until I'm done with all the bitter leaf. I'll repeat the picking and the cutting until I'm done with everything. Now I'm starting by using the traditional method that we all know, that is washing bitter leaf with salt. Now this step is optional, you don't have to do this yet, but I prefer to do this first of all because it makes the bitterness come out faster than if I don't do it. But you don't have to do this, you can just proceed to that easy step that I mentioned that I'm going to show you in this video. But I like to do this one first of all so that the bitterness can come out faster. So while washing, you notice that the leaves start shrinking, and once you see a little bit of foam coming out of the leaves, so that means you can proceed to the next step. So I'm going to rinse out the bitter leaf. If you want to use this method throughout, all you need to do is just rinse it out, add water and continue washing, and you may need to wash for like 5 to 7 times before the bitterness will go, or depending on the level of bitterness that you want. So just imagine how stressful this method is. To say you want to use this method throughout, this is how you keep washing and washing and washing until you are okay with the level of bitterness. And if you are the type that don't like any kind of bitterness at all, you are going to wash for several times, like 5, 6, even 7 or more times before you can get all the bitterness out of the bitter leaf using this method. So it is very stressful. That's why I don't like to do this method all through. I like to just do it once, then do the method that is very easy to get the bitterness out of the bitter leaf. Now to this method that I'm raving about, here it is. You are going to put a tiny bit of baking soda into a pot of boiling water. So for this quantity of water, I'm using just 1 teaspoon of baking soda. Baking soda is very potent, okay, so you don't have to use so much. The quantity you are using will depend on the quantity of water that you are using. Now notice that when I put the baking soda, there is some form of bubbling. So if that does not happen to you, then that means your baking soda is no longer active. You need to get a new one. So now after adding the baking soda, I'm just going to dump in the bitter leaf into the hot water. So I'm going to leave it to boil for 5 minutes. Immediately it starts boiling, you have to open the pot so that it does not boil over. So I'll just keep stirring, because the moment it starts boiling, to just keep boiling over and boiling over and boiling over. So you don't want to leave it at all, otherwise it will boil over the stove. So you have to stir at very short intervals so as to avoid it boiling over. So we are going to leave this on fire for 5 minutes. It should not be more than 5 minutes, otherwise the bitter leaf will be very soft and may have lost some of its nutritional values. So 5 minutes maximum, and depending on the level of bitterness that you want. Some people don't like their bitter leaf to be bitter at all, while some people like a little bit of bitterness. So for people that like a little bit of bitterness, you may need to just boil for like 3 minutes or so, but it should not pass 5 minutes. After 5 minutes, all the bitterness is gone. So it's been 5 minutes, so I'll just pour out the water from the bitter leaf. So I'll allow the water to drain, then I'll rinse it out with clean water. So I'll make sure I thoroughly rinse out the bitter leaf. We don't want any lingering tastes on any part of the bitter leaf. So I'll just rinse it out properly, then squeeze out the water, then we can store for use. So I'm just picking a bit of the bitter leaf to taste. I want to be sure that I don't have any bitterness in my bitter leaf. So I'm tasting this, and after tasting it is very perfect, and I'm just squeezing out the water and putting it aside. So if you are still with me by this time, that means you've enjoyed this video thoroughly. If you are not subscribed, please make sure you click on that subscribe button and share with your friends and family, and please comment your thoughts in the comment section. Okay, thank you and God bless you. So this is our bitter leaf. It is not bitter at all. There is not an ounce of bitterness in this bitter leaf. So to store this, you can just put it in a Ziploc bag and put it in your freezer or in your fridge, or you can just sun dry it, or if you have a dehydrator, just dry it and store it. Okay, and you can use it in your soup or any recipe that calls for bitter leaf.